"There are people hunting here. I can only see people," and yelled at him that he deserved to die. The letter ring, falling into the hands of the holy fire. They were surprised by his appearance. Ask why the holy fire is here. But the holy flame didn't say anything. He was so used to his reputation. When they saw the holy fire, they panicked. The fire god breathed coldly for a few hours. He's still burning up in flames. He continues to give orders for subordinates along this road. Encounter the people of the 6 great gods who killed without mercy. We all love God. You have to check the space ring. Anyone who hides it is determined to kill without mercy. The subordinates obey orders. Finished listening, the Fire Lord and his companions began to attack. He called out, "Kill all the gods." Finished talking, he named a subordinate. "Have the masters come?" The Lord announced that they were coming. Then get the situation. The holy fire continued. As soon as they arrive, immediately for the phantasmagy of the illusory palace. Looking for the disciples of the subordinates sounds impossible. Not obeying the wind. At the same time, the fire god is also quickly supporting. Here's a guy speaking up. Just got the news. The holy fire of love. Bring a few people. It's already in front of our illusory temple. Ocean heard that. He told his followers to practice magic. Use the fastest speed to run to the illusory palace. It's over. The subordinates obey. The whole team is speeding up. Launch like a rocket towards the illusory palace. Here's the scene. The photographers. King Chu Death and Motto has entered a narrow tunnel of darkness. Right now, the King of Death is killing spiderwebs. But how strange is it that he kills? Spiders are more and more there. They're all around him like they want to devour him. He just hit and doubted, asked the photographer. It's all black water and poison gas in the sky. We're really going into the world. The photographer and the Motto over here are hiding in a corner. I am confident that this path is not wrong. Don't worry. It's almost there. These spiders we and the Motto can't deal with. Then he bent down. Observe the body of a spider. Immediately judge. Many of these bodies would probably be useful. When he finished, he put his hand in his pocket, so he took out a blue sphere, and he thought. The judge is right. I used to be on a snowy mountain when I was fighting a demon. I got this 6 Zuzhou. They're all venomous. Let's see how it goes. He held up the blue sphere. 2 fingers in front of the mouth. Start reciting for a while. That spherical thing glowed, shocking the spiders. The blue light from the Kier sphere that radiates out and binds the Kier monster spiders. All the spider poison is sucked clean into that spherical object. Photographer amazes. The king now sees it. I can't help but scream a yellow hair. Why do I feel like I've become your coolie? The photographer didn't think. Frankly answer the badger. He said go to the owner. All the treasures you take have no part of you. And deal with these poisonous black water spiders. I am not trying to show you the way. You can't get a little more strength. Sao, when he heard this, he said, I can't believe it. It seems to make sense. Then he curiously turned to the photographer. What did you just play? Is the Sao treasure? The devil just lied about my hometown. You don't need to know. Death is also in the hands. The photographer looked at the sphere in his hand. But the treasure on the man of love, the legend. It really has a big effect. If you use the blood of the dead. Just thinking and curious, try to use the other hand to love the blood. If you touch the 6 pieces, you will be injured. He cried out for an hour. Then quickly withdraw your hand. Start reciting something again. Make the 6 chisels glow. The photographer saw that. Then I took the Kim Ra crystal stones, pouring into the power of celestial sphere suction, the power of spirit stone, plus with the power of blood love this morning. And it creates a tremendous amount of power. Up in the air. Regularly assess the situation. Heavenly power love blood min van. Plus absorb so many toxins. And then he threw a 6 Zhuzhou bullet in his hand. Go straight to the spiders. Zhuzhou 6 tablets. It's easy to stab the spider in the stomach. The poisoned spider bounced back to cry out the squeaks. And then it goes from purple to blue. 6, it was poisoned, rolled out. And then it's twitching endlessly. Zhazu cure 6 tablets. It seems that the task of killing the spider is over. It goes back to the photographer. I saw it coming back near him. He's a little scared too. Be careful about the 6. Tell yourself never to touch the skin. See the photographer here. It's the poison of the black water spider. I dare not touch it either. That can poison a black water spider to death. But he's being followed by another spider. And then startled, he slashed the spider in two. He thought silently, you have to be careful when you go outside. After a while, he thought it was wrong. It's not just this pearl. And this photographer is very strange. Maybe there's something dangerous. The photographer here. I just took a piece of black magic from the painting. Meticulous observation. He thinks the evil fortune can suppress the blood of the patriot. Easy to use to deal with. Death, he was happy. However, the blood in his body is also dying. After building contact with it, gradually able to control 36,000. In the jade. These scripts have their own effects. I can slowly study. Then he carefully observed each civilization on the jewel. Every little bit of power, they all seem to be wrapped up in their souls. Seems to have formed a protective layer. Then suddenly, the 8th spirit appeared. It's that color again. The photographer thought, since I used my blood love, has risen to levels. The power of this blood vessel is also strong. Now I have so much air. Just drive a little bit more. It can bring us to the present world. He looked down at the stone, he thought. Under the combined effect of many treasures. The speed of expansion of the soul is also extremely human. Keep moving. The Black Death could become even stronger. This side, the animals are shouting at each other up to 9 times. Every guy is screaming. I looked up at the sky and saw them. They don't know what's going on. Is it true that the evil of the Jade Estate can suppress love? Maybe you love Lin Sao. Wait, this is not a side effect. The photographer realized something. It was because I grew up too fast. I almost couldn't control it. They both love the opposite blood. If you think about it, his ears start moving. He used more blood. For the panda in the sky. It's done with blood love. Go crazy and scream out loud. The photographer saw its reaction. Think directly to the top 9. You have to use the rope to control them. The panda is wrapped around Leo. It's like being electrocuted. But only for a moment. The panda knocked Leo's melon off. The photographer is worried. Thinks the jugular vein is too strong. They've reached the celestial sphere. If you use Leo melon, you can't pull it. Love is about to lose control. Fortunately, at this time, the property has developed strength. Lock up all the lovers. The photographer just landed. The jade just thought, inherently afraid. The power of love is rising too fast now. Now you don't need to think much. This side effect helps me greatly. A place, I have been promoted to Heaven 03 middle. This side, the king is still fighting the spiders. And suddenly, my mouth is open. Turned out that the photographer was practicing VI. He thought for a short time. Regent even hit 3 stages. It's not a matter of blood love. But the guy didn't react at all. Look, there's a problem with the yellow guy. The title here is also surprising. Because the keyer photographer is constantly upgrading, there's a little self-doubt in her. I don't seem to keep up. Then suddenly, the king's voice cracked. You look ahead. The light is finally coming. He was so happy to cry. That's what the near light looks like. 3 of them ran to breathe. It hasn't arrived yet. Huang Hak breathing photographer. Self-condemnation after this tunnel. Maybe it's coming to the owner. After the magic of the spirit battle is broken. Who broke the outer boundary? It takes at least half an hour to figure out where the students are. It takes an hour at the fastest. There's no rush. We have plenty of time. I can see you there, Chill. Chill is annoying. He's got the spiders. I just screamed, I can't be so empty. But he hurried a little towards his door. When the 3 of them came to the place where the door was opened, they were astonished. In front of 3 of them is what light is shining. The photographer meticulously observes his surroundings. He found it all over the 4 walls. They're all frescoes with all kinds of shapes. It's like keeping a story. The photographer can't understand, but he's still curious to look around. And he looked up at the ceiling, and he saw 2 eyes carved on it. Han realized that it was a sign of the Holy Emperor. He remembered. Someone said, God is not as strong as he has been for thousands of years. Countless great powers have ever provoked the Holy Emperor. Many people almost succeeded. The Emperor still has no past 7 defeats. Here's fake power. It all melts into a cloud of smoke. This endless time, all under the control of the Emperor. No one can shake. The absolute authority of the Holy Emperor. The previous life after the Angel of the Earth. Destruction. The Emperor immediately began to slaughter the fake power for directions. The whole long area was killed. There are hundreds of thousands left. There's a multitude of powerful people from 4 or 8 directions converging. Everyone wants to surround the Holy Spirit, but they all died in their previous lives. The power of a radical disruptor. People have the power of God. Even oppressed into empire. If it wasn't for the time it took to write. The moon soon fell into a cloud of smoke. The eye has also been spotted. I asked the photographer what was wrong with his eyes. When they look at us, we feel tremendous pressure. It's like thousands of little magnets hitting your body. Hear the word, wonder. The inmate explained that. His eyes belong to a powerful god. The king continued to die. This god is the owner of the Holy Ghost. When he finished, he looked at the 2. They laughed and said, Your people. No one can fight this god. Listen to the king speak. In his heart, he thought, God's people worship God. God did not put love in his heart. Love is nothing but the flag of God. But tell them they don't believe it. The opposite of the temple image. Why is there such a fresco related to God? Think for a while. Photographer clenched his fist in his hand. He decided he wanted to fight with God. It's not that simple. But this is 200 years later. I can compose slowly. It will not be like my previous life. Over here, the king chewed death, and the motto discovered Ra. There are others appearing. He wondered why there were other people here. I was surprised when I went in. I didn't see it. These people who made it here have humanity. There is also love. What are they sitting there doing? Why not fight? The Buddha enlightened. These fake stories were all previous times. Even earlier went in here. And haven't left yet. His eyes widened with his mouth in surprise. The photographer continues. This jade glass is the spirit without bitch. Only the fake pedigree and guk bitch. You can go to the center of the temple. Just said. The photographer pointed his hand at the glowing circle just now. More than 100 of these fake guys. After they entered here. 1 ink, 2 stay. Everyone wants to find out. There's a glass of jade in front of this. Explained for 2 people to finish learning. The police rushed them over to the others. Let's wait to get close to that emerald glass. Lime chewing death panic, when I can't feel my power anymore. Hurry to scream. We haven't mobilized the power of the heavens yet. The same goes for the title. King chewing death realize is to get close to this jade glass. He lost his fighting power. I don't blame them all for not fighting. He looked around for a moment. I'm also staring at that jade glass. He sat down and looked at the jade. When I look at it, I see a bunch of clutter. He was too tired to look at it all the time. He was bored when he found out. There's also text and speech on it. He was curious to record how great the technique was. He began to stare. Like the people in this room. I can see the enthusiasm of the dead. You can sit right next to him. Once upon a time there was a lover, to detect their presence. Come back and ask what you have been doing for a long time. I can't see our love coming in here. I don't know how many years it's been. The Lord replied that we love God. The beloved Kier was delighted to appear, when you know that photographers are your own. The photographer was also curious. You said you haven't seen your love for a long time. You were in front of this glass. How long has it been? The farmer took a breath and replied. We don't know how long it's been, at least 6 years. I'm sorry, my office is sleeping. Until now, you can't explore the magic of this jade. But I've been practicing here. VI is progressing very quickly. I've gone from the most popular to the most popular. The photographer finished listening. Aesthetic time 6 years increased by 2 floors. The world is hard to blame. Many people don't want to leave. The king heard the 2 of them talking. He also turned to ask. I don't know what this brother's name is. The name of the patriarch is true. When you are finished, ask. This old man, what is recorded on this jade crystal? My feet are not afraid to explain. The above record must be that the cultivation method is not the mediocrity of the owner of the illusory palace while he was alive. If you can find 1 or 2 out of 10, you can be a great fake. When he finished, he said sadly that I was alone. I can only learn 1 word. In there, it has also become a paradise for us. If I could understand more. When I heard them, they were surprised. Because of the glass block. It turned out to be the divine word. This was invented by a great power. Practice to the end. Can hold God-level power. Photographer, serious facial expression. Think pure idioms. Compared to angel determination, is not a little inferior. Maybe the owner of this illusory temple. It's the Master Museum. Creating the spirit of God. In legend. This master is a genius. But it's incredibly mystical. No one knows what was the life of this master. I only know this God with the Holy Spirit. There was a battle. He did not defeat the Holy Emperor, but still intact. After the angel of the earth suppresses the ghost of the emperor, the master of the museum is hidden. Silent photographer. I guess I don't know this illusory temple. Is it the burial place of the great patriarch or not? It is more difficult to practice divinity than angels. God decided you need respect to practice. Although I have spent 2 lives practicing, but I'm still a normal person. I want to practice the divine language. It's very difficult. Are wandering around in thought. I can feel the familiar breath. He was curious to look back. The newcomer is the enemy. The life of a photographer is to love the owner. I didn't expect to see him here. Love is not coming in from heaven. So how did he get in? From his breath, he reached the 8th level. But on the man of love, there's a mystical, strong breath. It makes others feel a little cold. Because of the wiring in my body. Training is very slow, if not by the power of blood love. I'm afraid it's still just a fate. This guy has a great body. Suddenly increased dramatically. The more he looked, the more he hated it. If not this place, if I don't use force, I will kill him. Although only, it can also be intact. It's just lowering his cultivation to 1 floor. Looking through Love Owner, I thought this guy was from the world. He and Harry seem to have a huge feud. I can feel it. This person is an extremely dangerous person. Think about here. Hurry up and look at the reaction. The enemy only gets angry when he sees the enemy. Suddenly, this owner stood up and said contemptuously, I can't believe so many people came to this place. But you guys ended up. You can only stop here. There is no love for the island of the Great Master Museum. Listen to the words of this lover. People sitting in front of glass. They can't hear you. They talk. Someone wants to break the glass. The laughing man, the name loves the owner. I despise the power of glass. He guessed for sure the owner of Kier will soon be destroyed. The photographer finished listening to the aesthetic. What happened? I love the owner now and before. It's a little different. But what specifically doesn't say raw? Name love party owner. This is close to the jade glass. He gave out his hand. Stunned photographer didn't know what this guy was going to do. Just withdrew my mind. I see the owner. I've touched the inscriptions painted on it. The owner slowly stepped into the glass of Engok bitch. In an easy way. Everyone was surprised by him. To chew death in amazement. What is the other person doing? The photographer sees that. I felt that something was wrong. Everyone quickly stopped him. Everyone heard that and immediately rushed to the owner's side. But not in time. He got inside. The owner's love is gone. It's amazing to the Kier crowd. What is this? Kier disappeared. He went into the glass emerald SAO. I hate that we've been here for so long. Why did this person just arrive and solve it? The photographer here is also surprised to think that it is possible. If you love the owner, you can get to the owner so quickly. Further open the emerald glass. The new external prosthetic fits. Open up the borders of external electricity. It's not long. Unless before. The master is already in the temple of illusion. I have a little regret when I have underestimated the owner. His eyes stared. In the inscriptions on the glass of jade. He made up his mind. You have to go into the glass. Before you say the words, you continue to stand by this glass of jade. Let's find out. Remember, before we get back, we shouldn't leave. It's very dangerous outside. You see, the spirit of self-determination is so strong. Immediately think, maybe they found a way in. The photographer is ready. He's just a step away from the emerald glass. People are paying attention again. The photographer talked again. Look, the key or love. Someone wants to break the law. On jade glass. A serious man said, don't ignore the guy who just happened so fast. Even if the jade is opened this time, there's no way he can get in there. I don't know what the photographer is thinking. He stepped up and knocked a few on the glass. Some people feel like an idiot. Laughing and mocking. Is there anyone like you who can solve it? Looks like a fool. Photographer, after tapping his hand on the glass of jade. He thinks he can't. It took me a while to make that decision. The photographer finally used his words. And then he started to write the French. The people in the back are watching. Still don't stop mocking. One of them said, haha, I'm starting to paint. This guy just pulled the net. Then a powerful light emitted from the side of the glass. Make them blur. They asked each other what was going on. That's not true. That guy's body is starting to change. And then another guy called out. Catch him now. Before the photographer mixed with the key or light, that disappears into the jade glass. People get another surprise. Just ask each other no more. What is it? Someone came in. Maybe the way to get into jade glass is very simple. Why didn't you stop him from asking? Why didn't you say, they only know how to blame each other? The king is over here. I saw the photographer go into the jade glass by himself. Is gaping with wonder. Can't say a word. He hurried back to ask the question. The photographer soon knew how to get in. I don't know the exact answer either. He was lucky to get in, king. Death sounds so loud. He said to go in alone. Not bring me. It's obnoxious. The treasure is not left to him alone. After he finished, he turned to look at the aesthetic motto, but there's one who's still here. Maybe he'll come back. He looked helplessly at the glass. Just have to wait. South America will not be quiet for long. Suddenly, the jade glass glowed. The whole crowd hurried around, carefully observed the pile of civilizations. That's what Li and Kier's owner wrote. They recognize. There's a little bit of feedback from the glass smoke. Tell each other you both just wrote. There is a reaction. One just thought. I just put my hand on the glass and tried to write. I just finished a French translation. The civilizations he painted also glowed. It's like finding the truth. Let's celebrate each other's glow. It worked. The name just appeared in French. Immediately touched the glass jade. To step inside, he was pushed back by an invisible force. Along with a tremendous amount of light. People have to hurry to cover their eyes. Until the skin threading, it's better than them opening their eyes. Hurry up and see what the name is. Who is afraid of him becoming dry ink-baked alcohol? You just pulled out. Illustration on Engok bitch glass. It can't be so easily solved. Then they said to Kier, or you can try again. Of course, he's not stupid. I want to die again. Hurry to reject immediately. I worked so hard to get in here. Have the opportunity to learn the law on Engok bitch. I don't want to leave so soon. They told each other to sit down. The king looked at the situation. He secretly thought this little yellow-haired devil is a bit of a genius. Can open emerald glass. The opposite is not strange. Someone comes in first. The photographer doesn't know what the schedule is. Looks like I didn't have a chance to go in. It is still good to stay in this place and obey the law. He sighed for an hour. The motto here is also falling into meditation. The photographer was afraid for a while. It will be like ice. Leave me alone. Now my VI is 2 places behind. It's going to get worse and worse. Suddenly, the words feel the flow. Strength is flowing in me. She aesthetically feels it again, 2 streams of power. Every time I get in trouble, these 2 different breaths will appear. Give yourself a hand. Moreover, they and their rings have a mystical connection. This is definitely the key to finding your identity. In person, this time, the love of blood is getting stronger and stronger. Her body gradually lit up. The soul of the sea also has movement. The whole body radiates strong breath. The motto is still amazed by this power. This power is broken. 2 breaths after stimulating blood love. Then, the number of souls increased from 7 to 8. 2 VI 8 par, and then there's another soul. Immediately to 9 points, and then a star in the middle lit up. The motto doesn't understand what's going on right now. Focus motto. Feel the power is growing in her body. Once you understand the power of the star, can enter the celestial realm. The dying king received a strong breath near him. He turned and was startled by the motto. The breath of the phrase is constantly rising. It's already reached 9, and it's about to disrupt the planet. He thought these 2 guys were real perverts. Normal people practice. Where do you want to go to a level of at least 15? It's constantly breaking through. I've been practicing here for a while. I think I and Harry are constantly breaking through. The power of blood love. Not to love blood. The breath in my body is getting stronger. Then there are 2 streams of air that flow into the sea soul. The 2 eyes of the motto lit up. She was stunned for a moment, as if she understood something. She stared into the jade glass in front of you. Look at the scriptures up there. She knows how to solve this battle. Stand up a circuit, getting closer to the glass. I can't believe it, he called out, stop. The startled slogan turned around. The king chewed death as if Ra was acting. Immediately asked, maybe you can go in there too. The motto is not sure if she can solve it. She hasn't said anything. And the king begged him to obey. Say the word, brother. Tell me how to open the emerald glass. You both go in. No one can protect you. Then Ra is due. My husband and I have never talked to each other. Suddenly turned out to ask the dead. I know her name again. Come on over here and explain. How many times has the yellow guy called you? The motto is thinking, if the photographer and lover fight, so that idol will have one more helper. Think of the motto that points out to the dead. I mean, he could go into the emerald glass together. With her. And then the ingress struck in the head of the dead. Show him how to get in. Action of the motto. Make him a surprise. He thought the motto could be DM cross vacuum in van. Hit in his head. Even if it's a fake long movie. Not sure if it can be done. It's so scary. Let's hurry to death. Even death does not hesitate. Get up right away. But in my heart, I can't help but think, these 2 are real perverts. They have underestimated their abilities before. And the king chewed death. Turned to draw the successful Min Van. And into the emerald glass. This side, the master of photography has arrived. He looked around for a while. He saw a large statue. He thought it was a $2,000,000 statue, but it feels enormous. It causes others to produce respect. Not self-control. This is the great master of the legend. The photographer turned his eyes downwards. I see the shadow of the enemy in the sky. His face changed. I love this place. You can't fight. Just like outside, cannot mobilize the power of the Thien Min path. The master can bring his feet. Hidden in this building. No matter how. Never let the owner love you. The owner also realized that someone was coming. He turned to the photographer. The two of them looked at each other nervously. For a moment, the owner turned away. I don't care about photography. The photographer thinks now. The master's breath is like a sword. I love the owner now compared to before. Increasingly dangerous. Suddenly, a strong breath. Down where the photographer stood. He panicked and didn't understand what happened. He thought infinite power fell from the sky. Power pole is Ra Oi Sao, the photographer shouted furiously. Who do you think I am? And then he snatched it off. Leo's cords are wrapped around him. He got out, but just got out. He looked up at the ceiling of the museum. Suddenly, the hero waiting 1,000 years to get here. Most of them are patriots. There is finally a human race. It is not bad if you two agree. Inherit my legacy. For a nameless people. Love the owner here. I also heard the voice of the master. On the other side, he is full of determination. We are willing to work hard for the people. It is better to say than to say. For the sake of humanity, I also want. This is before the enemy of 1,000 lives. The photographer is not dressed, but I don't believe he can do that. I hope the teacher can understand. I heard the two of them talking. The author here says the love of the world. Cause and effect of reincarnation go into the temple of illusion at the same time. It is with me that the world is good and evil. If you can't see through, there's nothing to discover. The master just finished. The photographer here is starting to pretend to be quiet. If you can't see it, you can see it. The law of love. Killing sentient beings. Achievement for such an evil self. Because the master still wants to love the master as a disciple. The Kier Museum continued. If you become my disciples, you can hold in your hand the secret. The orders of the disciples of our museum. But from then on, someone will chase you and kill you. This man has the power to destroy 6 great gods. The 6 gods will not be able to protect you. If fear can quickly retreat. The owner's name is finished. Without a moment's hesitation, he seemed determined to answer my question. The photographer here is the exact opposite. He considered a little. Then he asked for forgiveness. I cannot be your disciple. And then he went back over and over again. Use your power. Body can step to the top of the room. Until he has the power to challenge the Holy Emperor. He didn't pay attention to me for a while. Now join the museum. It's very likely to be exposed. With the current power, the holy war is to stab your head to death. At the height of the master's museum, he could not defeat the emperor. The teacher seemed surprised with the decision of the regent, so I am here to pass on the legacy to him alone. Love the owner sounds so pleased to laugh contentedly. The photographer found himself retreating. It doesn't have any obnoxious effect. I can't stop loving the owner. Once loving master in hand, the power of such a master. It's even harder to deal with later. The students of the museum. Trongqing's power against the Holy Emperor. I cannot borrow the hand of God. To deal with loving owners, there are many things in this life that I cannot control. While the photographer was lost in thought, the museum continued. Even though you can't inherit me, but it also seems to me. From your body, I can feel the breath of heaven. God decided to make 1,000 Li Hassan map, together with the undecided. for a short time. That can be cultivated to the current level. Was not easy. I don't know if you have a passport, but